afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast Addendum with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, and talking about stuff. Today I'm looking at sort of a specific topic I'd like to see in the future games. Obviously, I'm not going to see here because it requires a lot of work all of a sudden, which is not going to happen. Whereas in the future coming this game, it would be more overall manageable to work in, and that is specifically visual veterans. And this, as you level up a unit, don't just get a few more stars, which I suppose looks neat, but overall doesn't really do much there. But actually, sort of visually, you can sort of see what the different veterancy levels does on the unit, so there's less confusion about it, but also just way to sort of make the unit actually look a veteran, because overall a veteran unit, for example, one that's seen a lot of experience, it's overall going to pick up a lot of tricks which will sort of appear in terms of equipment and your style there compared to a less veteran unit. But also, again, just helps to, distinguish between them, makes things a bit more visually exciting as well. So, what do I have in mind? I mean, we sort of already slightly have something in the game, and that's basically only this German armor that has that. When they hit sort of learn about veterancy again, they get the armored skirts added. That's stuff like that for the infantry. Say, imagine the grenadiers wear an actual proper grenadier uniform, not this, overly bright nonsense. Then, we could say at a certain level, they actually get something that resembles a more proper looking camouflage uniform. So again, represent, oh hey, these chaps have gotten more veteran, for example. They could get more, bundles of ammunition, more pouches with their ammunition, for example, as they sort of represent different things, or large bundles of grenades or stick grenades sort of just hanging to them. Those are, for example, also examples of visual veterancy. Or say in a tank, as you veteran it up, again, they could, for example, add spare treads sort of to the sides of it. That was a common trick, for example, to sort of help absorb armor. Those so tanks would probably not have done so much, but still could be done. Or say bed frames, which was actually used right before Berlin, to sort of help deal with the Panzerfaust a bit. You could add sort of different, markings, for example, kill markings on the barrel, on the side of the turret, sort of improvised camouflage, throwing on foliage on the tank again. Also, just little details there, so make it appear a bit more in some cases. Also trying to tie them into the different bonuses. For example, again, increase, rate of fire, and they might have, kill markings on the side of the tank. How to say, but increase accuracy. You could say do it on the, rings on the gun instead, for example. And again, durability can then sort of, displayed by, well, improvised armor on the tank. And of course, you can then sort of further tell a more sort of, flexible veterancy system. Actually allows you to choose the bonuses that I'm going to, make a video on that, sort of further go into detail. That it's just, all this veterancy stuff. I ultimately realize it's going to cover a lot of different subjects. So I figure better to focus. But again, by doing these things, again, we can help make the unit stand out a bit more, make players perhaps also feel more attached to them, and also make things more visually interesting, variable, and overall a lot less boring, but also, again, just make things look cooler. And again, it would also then, of course, for other players, just more at an eye glance tell, what the hell is going on there. Again, armored skirt, sure, we can tell that's more armored, but, rate of fire, that's not really something that can visually appear. And again, it's going to be trickier, but again, you could sort of have, different markings sort of appeared. And again, faster tank, you could say, have sort of little lightning marks on the side of the tank, for example. Increased accuracy, you can have little eyes there again, different sort of symbols, markings, different highlight different bits there, as to what it could do. As an overall sort of set of thoughts there. So that is very much, I think, one way of helping the, the game stand out a bit more. And again, add a bit more sort of visual flair as to sort of you progress in the game. Make units again a bit more interesting in that department as well, and also a bit more interesting for those who aren't perhaps also just high level and just like visual flair. Again, that would also be a benefit, but again, it would help with the whole every battle tells a story bit as well, since again veterans would bloody well look the part. Again, armored crews, I mean, imagine a Veterancy 3 Tiger all of a sudden. That could look a lot more impressive than a current Veterancy 3 Tiger, for example. It could actually end up looking like, a proper goddamn ace. Again, looking the part. And the thing is, of course, the game here, I mean, we pretty much only experience it through our eyes and our ears. So, I mean, the more you can then sort of signify through that, instead of just having to, people rely on, numbers, tell you, oh, this is exciting, got 25% more exciting. You get the point a lot more easily across if it looks 25% more exciting actually, because it got more stuff on it. Obviously, the key then, of course, to ensure in a manner where it doesn't get cluttered, and of course that's where proper art design comes in. But considering what people can do nowadays in games, you can see some of the design that goes into it. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure even you take a few sort of deliberate liberties with sort of visual stuff there in terms of history, I mean, you could probably pull off some interesting parts there. So, make things again stand out more and overall, be more interesting, which is sort of again what I'm trying to hint at. And again, it's not say the hugest thing, but again, I do think it's one of those, where just a bit more work here and there could add a lot more to the game. And again, visually, because again, we see the game visually, we experience the game visually. Of course, also the sound part again, Relic has nailed that quite a bit, and that's great. But again, visually, I think there's a lot more still work that can be done. Again, one of those things is just have more units reflect more their actual veterancy as they veteran up. And again, that is sort of what I'm trying to highlight and sort of, suggest what you can do things to, make that stand out more. Again, for armor, it's a lot easier to point out, but again, with infantry, that's where things are going to be a bit more tricky. Again, you can sort of do it with kit as well. And in some cases, you can try to look at, replacing weapons instead. You're just saying, they get 25% more action, so on. They could just get an actual better weapon, say Pioneers for the MP40s. They might then say get the PPZ-41s, captured weapons, sort of signify, oh hey, we actually got more DPS that way now. So again, that's also another key to do it. And again, the Germans used a lot of Soviet submachine guns. They converted millions of them. They captured a lot of them and used a lot of them. So again, that is one way of doing it. Again, so make units stand out more. I know we're going to add a bit more impact that way, and of course helps people, experience with the game, but perhaps also just helps someone, put it more into system without necessarily having to look through the codes every single damn time. So, just a small subject here, again, something I've sort of been pondering for a bit, and again, overall sort of part of a broader series, covering veterans, like to see happen there, because a lot there I think that can be done with veterancy down the road. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, had some fun with it, gave you some thoughts. If you did, subscribe, like, share, and of course tell Relic if you loved and would like to see happen in the future coming to the game. Again, the more they know, the better. So thank you all for joining in. I hope to see you all with another video sometime in the future. Cheers.